Hi guys, welcome back to Make That Sea Change. Paul here with you today. Make That Sea Change is my site and channel aimed at everything to do with setting up your own online business. Now along those lines, today we're going to talk about how to use ChatGPT for blogging. So ChatGPT, it's hard to say that, is an AI-based document or I don't know what you call it, an AI program that allows you to create blog posts, sales pitches, metadata. It can even do code. There's so much that it can do. And today I'm going to take you through how to use it for blogging. Now, as I just mentioned, there's plenty of ways that it can be used and the sky really is the limit. I'm going to try and keep it as simple and as basic as I can. So comment below if there's any different commands you use to make things work a little bit differently. I'm going to, as I say, keep it simple. But yes, there are so many different ways that you can use it and so many different ways that you can write what you want ChatGPT to do, which I suppose is part of the learning curve with it. So I sort of figured I wanted to do a post on how to, use it for blogging. But I thought, well, if I'm going to do that, I might as well record the creation of the post in ChatGPT as we go. So let's not waste any more time. Let's go into the my screen. So what I've got here is I've created my post and I've got how to use ChatGPT for blogging. I'm just going to highlight that, pure laziness. And then I'm going to click over to ChatGPT. So I'm using ChatGPT 4. If you're on the free version, you'll be using 3.5. You can see reasoning, speed and conciseness is the ratings there. ChatGPT 4 reasoning and conciseness is pretty good. It's a bit slower because it's still in development mode as far as I know. But, you can, again, comment if you've got anything like that. So to write a blog post with ChatGPT, I like to run through on a step-by-step. It depends how you like to write. You might want to write it on a step-by-step or you might want to write it have it write a one and then copy it over and redo. I will show you some of the things it can do. I always talk to it like it's a person. I don't know if you really have to. Can you write a blog post outline on the subject? That's why I'll copy it, because it just makes it easier for me. It matches that. Use ChatGPT for blogging are my keywords. I've already done my keyword research, so they're my keywords there. Keep that in mind as we go through. So I ask it to generate, and it's going to give me a brief overview of how it all works. So it'll tell me what it is, the importance of it, the objective of the blog post, how to start using it. So if you haven't got an account, it'll talk you through that quickly. And this is where, as we go through, I'll show you where I like to elaborate on things and where I just like to leave things pretty clear, pretty, concise. And it's talking about here. So setting up the right prompts, using clear and concise prompts, providing context, adjusting response length and quality, dealing with incomplete and unclear answers, ensuring content uniqueness, running plagiarism checks. These ones here are quite important. I don't understand it completely, but the AI process of it is it goes off the internet, finds all the information it can, and then puts together what it calls a clear outline of what it's looking at. I think you need to be careful if you're writing using ChatGPT for things where you're writing medical or you're writing concise instructions, especially if those instructions can have an effect on safety and things like that. You will need to do your homework. Don't just take what ChatGPT has written as gospel. To be honest, blogging using ChatGPT for blogging, if I wrote all this and it was slightly out, then all it does for my blog is creates a prompt for people to come in and tell me it's wrong, which is sometimes a good thing on a blog because you get all sorts of different information. That said, you still want to make sure that it's got that information there. AI generated content and human touch, that is a big thing because you want to make sure that you're still writing it in a manner that appears natural. ChatGPT is pretty good for that. I am normally pretty picky with how I write, as my writers will probably tell you. But yeah, it is something to be aware of, and I'll show you all that as we go through. So I'm okay with that to start with. That looks pretty good. What you're looking for here, obviously, with your blog outline, is just to make sure that there's nothing missing. So if you're happy with everything that's there, I'm going to say that's great. Can you now please write the introduction? I'm going to do this separately just so you can see what I'm talking about with some of the things that we've gone there. I would normally here just go, okay, can you just now write the blog post? And it writes it all out, and then I copy and paste it over and do what I need to do from there. But I just want to show you how you can break it down a little bit. So if I write the introduction, how to use ChatGPT for blogging, comprehensive guide, it's going to start talking about why you can use ChatGPT. And I'll just let that finish, and then I'll copy it over, and we'll see how we like to go. So it's giving me a run through of what it's going to do. I don't always leave that in, basically on the way that I write my post, but it's in there if you want it. So let's copy that over. And there I've got my start. So you can see I've copied that over. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to I'm putting in my heading. How to use ChatGPT for blogging. So I've just sort of still can't spell it right. I've just put a little heading in there. So in today's rugby, I'm not going to make you do this. I'm not going to run you through this for the entire blog post, but I will just for this part. Blah, blah, blah. One of the most great is development chapters. So I'm going to break that down a little bit. This AI-driven tools potential revolutionize content, making it easier, faster. I don't like commas there, and more efficient for bloggers and writers alike. So I'm going to lead them to the video that I'm recording now. Obviously, I'm going to post into this. We're finished. This post was created using ChatGPT. So I'm just giving them a bit of run there. I'm going to remove that. The rest of that, I don't necessarily want that in there. And that is the beauty of ChatGPT. So I've taken a bit of what they've given me in the post, but I've also then humanized it myself. And that to me is probably the most important thing, especially at the moment where, look, if you're a blogger working with SEO and you know, organic traffic and the like, I think that in my research, the school of thought is still out as to what Google thinks of AI. I don't think it has a choice. I think it's here, and they will really just have to run with it. But in the early stages, you know, because SEO has always been about, you know, informative and helpful content, stuff that people can read, and so it has grammar readers and stuff in it that read things to see, you know, if they flow and all that sort of stuff. So. Look, I've got posts in my site that I've just copied and pasted over verbatim, but I've also got others where we've changed. And here I've just sort of, so now I'm going to just a little bit of SEO. How can we use GPT for blogging. So I'm just doing a header here because I want that just for my SEO. ChatGPT won't put that in. So let's now have a look at the ins and outs of using ChatGPT for blogging. So all I'm doing here is just getting my keywords into the post. So if we go back here now, the introduction, awesome. Can you now please write the rest? So this is now going to write the rest of the blog post. I think it will redo the introduction. Oh yeah, already provided above. There you go. And that's the beauty of, that's the thing that I really like about ChatGPT compared to, say, Jarvis or Jasper. I can't remember which one they're calling themselves now, and some of the others, is that ChatGPT will remember what it is that you're talking about. So you can go back and you'll see that in a minute when I'll go back and I'll ask it to elaborate on something. So you'll see what I'm talking about. But this part here, getting started with ChatGPT. So I'm going to start copying that over while it's still writing, just for time frame. As I said a minute ago, I'm not going to sit here and make you go through the whole process. I will copy it over, show you how I can ask it to elaborate, and then I will create the post and then go back and show you what I've done rather than make you sit here for hours on end while I mess around the post. That said, I am timing this. We're 12 minutes in, so if you're still here, thanks for hanging around. But we're 12 minutes in, and I'll let you know how long it took me at the end. So you can see there, it has now come into getting started. So I'm going to copy this over. Getting started with setting up an account. And I'm just going to bring that up. They've given me the website there, so I'm going to copy that straight over as a link, and that gives me my outbound link for my SEO. And then so what I'm going to do here, and again, I'm not going to make you hang around. I'm going to bullet point those, and then we're on to our second lot here. So it'll be how to use ChatGPT to improve your blogging process, brainstorm content ideas, outlining your blog post, write engaging content. So I want it to elaborate on this a bit. So I'm just going to highlight that. Can you please elaborate on section? Now this is where there are so many different ways that people write this, and some people put this in the first part. So they might write, can you write the rest of the blog post? Please make it so many words. Please have this, please have that. And you can have as much as you want in there. I'm asking it to outline the blog to write a bit more. So it's not writing as much more there as I wanted. And that's probably the terms that I've used. And again, I'm trying to keep it simple, but there are other ways that you can do this and make it a bit more advanced. There is one bit in there that I want. The brainstorming ideas is probably idea. So So if you want, you can get it to brainstorm content ideas, which I'll show you again. I'll show you again at the end when we go back through that. So outlining your blog post, I want a bit more information on that because that's quite important. So I'll just wait for this to finish. I'm not sure of all of this information that I'll put in or not put in, and that's the beauty of it. You can pick the bits that you want and go from there. Here we go, blah, blah, blah. So that's why, writer's block's a good one. I sometimes need to write a paragraph on some of my other sites. If I've got one on fishing, it might be, what is a camping hammock? And I just think, I can't write a paragraph on that. I put it in here and it just writes it. Can you please elaborate on outlining your blog post? So I want it to write a bit more information because that's an important step. If you know what it is that you're going to write about, it gives you an idea of how you're putting that post together. So up here, when I got it to write the outline to start with, that gives me a few things that I then look at. I can look at, as I was talking you through it, I'm already in my head going, okay, well, these are the important parts. So they're the parts that I'll probably ask it to elaborate, because I already know that if the way that I ask it to do it is just going to write a basic, like just a line or two on each. So I already know which bits I want to elaborate. And then it also, as I said, allows me to make sure that I've covered what I've got in my head. As you start to write blogs, and those of you who've been writing blogs for a while, you probably understand what I mean when I say you already understand what it is you want to write about. You've already got your content. You've probably already got your keywords. So here it's just about making sure that your blog outline is going to cover exactly what you want. So by elaborating, asking it to elaborate, so you can see there now it's given me a whole extra range just on that outlining your blog post part. So I can pick and choose as I go through what I want it to write more on, what I want it to write less on. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to leave you go. So I've got this first part in here, so you can see how I've copied that over. I'm going to bullet point that. Then I'm going to put the next part in, and essentially I'm just going to go through this post section by section, copy it over, work out what I want a bit more about, work out what I'm happy with just what it's got, and I'll put the post together. Once I've done that, obviously for you, my next breath you hear will be have it finished, and we'll keep going. So I'll see you in a second. And we are back. I have finished the post, so I'll just quickly run you through the API part of it so you can see, not the API, the ChatGPT part of it. So you can see sort of a link between what I've done and how the post has come about. So one thing I've noticed straight up, and this is something that I've noticed with ChatGPT every now and then, you'll notice that it didn't actually finish my original post. I asked it to elaborate, and maybe it was because I asked it to elaborate before it was finished. I didn't think I did, but maybe that was the case. But I have noticed that a couple of times. If you are getting it to write your first run of your post, you will need to make sure it finishes. If it doesn't, go to your prompt and say, please continue, and it will continue and write it for you. So you can see here, if I go back to my my outline here, I'll just quickly explain to you what I did in the post, then I'll show you the post to outline that. So I kept the introduction. Getting started, I kept that, I think, pretty much getting started, choosing the right plan. So opening your account, choosing the plan, accessing the GPT API, which was this part. Then we've got how can ChatGPT improve your blogging process. Now, something to identify here again is that you can see here, setting up the account, choosing the right plan, accessing the documentation. How can it improve your blogging process is what I've pretty much done that from word to word. So you can see here, how can it improve? And I've gone through each of these. I asked it to elaborate on outlining your blog post and writing engaging content, because they're quite important parts of creating a blog post. So I wanted to elaborate on that so that people who were new to blogging have a bit more of an idea of what you need to do to break it down, writing engaging content. So I've gone through all of that. editing and proofreading. Then we get into best practices. So from the best practices, I have put in the clear and concise prompts I wanted because it gave me examples. So it starts to give me examples on how I can use the prompts that we spoke about with ChatGPT. And then we've got, where are we now? We're into, now I've lost track of where we are. Providing context and encouraging detailed responses. So uniqueness there is the next one. Sorry, I'm a bit jumpy here. I had it right. Okay, cool. So what I did, clear and concise prompts is where I kept that. And then providing context, encouraging detailed responses, requesting. So they're all under the prompts used there. That's how I got confused with that because they're all the ones that I've done. I actually took this part out. The reason for that is because this post I wanted to use it for GPT blogging, API limitations, token limits, response length and quality, etc., etc. That's more a tutorial on using ChatGPT itself. So I pulled that out. And the point I'm making here is as you go through, you add and remove bits as you want. Then I've got to ensuring, content uniqueness. And I've just left that as a bullet point thing, run plagiarism checks, refine and personalize your content, which I've asked it to elaborate on that part there, and then fact check. From there, I've gone into, I've removed this part as well. I didn't need that into my content management system plugins and the like because I'm purely just doing a post in ChatGPT, copying it over to my WordPress site here. So all my plugins and everything are already in there. I haven't really, so I pulled that out again. And then I've gone maintaining balance between AI generated content and human touch. So I've left a few paragraphs of that. Now, because it didn't finish it in my post here, if I go to the bottom, I had to ask it to, can you please write the section on maintaining and elaborate on each point. So I just asked it to write me a little bit more on each one. I changed that around a bit. I actually removed some of these parts here because it was actually repeated in here. Now that's another thing to check on. That's what I started to say before. You do need to proofread everything because these AI processes, these AI platforms do have a habit of repeating themselves. So this stuff here, address your target audience, provide unique insight and perspectives, add personal anecdotes, was already, as you can see here, emphasize storytelling, infuse your personality, etc., was already explained further up. So I took some of that out and just wrote that there, and then monitor feedback and engage with your audience, which was the last point. Sorry to scroll up and down too much. The little thing's not working. So I, maintaining balances, and then I added a bit from that was in here about I added a piece there on monitor feedback, engage with the audience. That was one of the points. So I actually took, that final point there, I actually pulled that out and made it its own section. The conclusion, ChatGPT wrote the conclusion for me. I added my own little bit that I add to the bottom of every one of my posts, and my post is written. So I know that was a very quick spin through, but effectively, again, what I've done here, I don't know what that thing's not working. What I've done here is I've taken my points here. I asked it to write me the original post, and then I spent the next little while so you can see, can you elaborate on that part? Can I elaborate on that part? Elaborate on that part. Elaborate on the next one. Elaborate. And then write the section because it didn't finish it. Elaborate on each point. And then I pulled some bits out and moved them all around. So you can see there how I've built my blog post. getting started, how can improve, brainstorming ideas, content, etc. So I put that post there. That has taken me 45 minutes from the time that I started press record on this, the original video, to take you through when I started you with just the heading and put all this stuff in, to when I started pressing the video, press record for the second part, take you through this next section of once it's finished, was 45 minutes. What I need to do now is I need to go in, I'll go in and put some pictures in. I'll go and put some graphics in. So I want to put some graphics in for some of the other prompts, for some of the other things that it can do here. For example, where was it? Brainstorming content ideas. So if I want content ideas, can you please list me some content ideas on, I don't know, flying with children. So if you are writing a travel blog and you want some content ideas, you can then do something like that. And it's given me some ideas. So there's that's how some blog posts can be built. From there, obviously, then you can then go in, oh, I like that one. Can you please provide me a blog outline, a post outline for tips for flying with babies? So if I've got that there, great. Can you please provide a blog post outline for flying with babies? And there it goes. So that's, just some other things that you can do. And I'm mainly doing this because I'm going to take a screen dump of that and put it in the post as an example here. So I'm using AI for some of my pictures there. The last thing I want to do here is, can you please write me a meta description for this post based on the keywords. What were my keywords? Use ChatGPT for blogging. So I can then take that, go back to my post, whatever SEO tool you've got there. Too big, so I need to I'll put that there. See. I like capitals on all of my things, so I could have gone through but you get the picture of how I've used that to create my, one thing I could have done there that I didn't do is I could have then asked it to do it, limit to 160 words. Let's try that again. Please limit to 160 words. Okay. So I need to work on that anyway, but let's see, let's just play. That doesn't like that either. Anyway, that's something that I will play with, but geez, it's gone much longer. Okay, anyway, let's forget about that. I could say I'll edit that out of the video, but I won't. But at least you can see how you do need to play with it sometimes to get at what you want. My advice would just be use the first one and then just play around with it. in there. Let's do this. I like the year in there. So there you go. Meta description is done. There's my thing, and I'll go in and update that. So all I need to do now is go in and add some pictures or some graphics, some screen dumps, and we are done. So once I've done that, I'll just come back for a final to show you finally through, and we'll conclude the video. See you then. Okay, and that is the post done. So I've gone back in, and you can see I've added some graphics there. Some of my, my calls to action. I've got a graphic here of the ChatGPT looking at the variations for blog ideas. Some of my advertising's kicked in, but that's okay. So I just wanted to show you here quickly so you can see what I've got here built there is very similar to the initial outline that we had. Sorry to scroll all the way back up yet again. That's one other thing that I'm not loving about ChatGPT is once you get into it, you've got to scroll up and down, but I'm not sure how they could fix that. But I mean, if you have a look at that there compared to my heading, you can see it's very, very slim. As I mentioned before, I've taken some things out. I moved some things around to different headings. You can see that there. But at the end of the day, I have created this blog post purely based on what ChatGPT has given me. I have followed some of the rules that I've outlined within the post. I've personalized a bit of it. I've adjusted some of it to more how I like my post to look. I've added a little bit of personalization now, even here, hey, there, see changes, etc., etc. So it's bringing into line to how all my posts are written and how they look within this website. But at the end of the day, that is that done. So that's it, guys. That is how we create a blog post using ChatGPT. As I mentioned earlier, there are lots and lots of different ways that you can ask ChatGPT to do things. And, I'm sure there are some of you looking at this video going, well, hang on, that's not how I ask it, or that's not how you should do it. There are better ways to do it. Absolutely, there's probably better ways to do it. In fact, there are some ways that I tweak. And to be honest with you, it's still something that I'm learning as I go as well. As you saw, when I tried to limit that, my meta description to 160 words, whatever I was putting in there wasn't working. So I'll need to go away and play with that. I don't actually use ChatGPT for my meta descriptions very often. So wisely or unwisely, I decided to put it in a video. But, it's hopefully a good idea, a good way that you can see that it is something that you grow with and work with. But as I said, I just wanted to give you a very basic outline of how to create a basic post. I asked for the blog description or the description outline first based on my keywords. I'd already researched the keywords. From there, I then look at the outline, think, yep, that's what I want. If you don't like that, there is a button down the bottom here if I turn this off quickly, there is a button down here that you can see regenerate response within ChatGPT. So if you are doing something in there that you don't like, all you need to do is just go back and hit that regenerate response, and it'll do it again and again and again and again until you're happy with what you've got. So you're not always stuck with it, and that is one of the key advantages of ChatGPT compared to some of the others, that you've got that real flexibility in how you can make that work. But as I said, I did the blog outline, got it to write it, look through, okay, elaborate on that bit for me, elaborate on that bit for me. I've removed some bits that I didn't want, that weren't totally relevant to what I was trying to achieve. And you can see the blog post, if you're watching this video, below you if you're watching this video within the post, you can see it below you in the post. That's it, guys. Hope that was helpful. Absolutely comment below if you've got any other commands that you use that would work better than how I've done it, because that's what this post is all about, looking at the basics, and then we can grow it. I will come back if I, every now and then put a little update at the bottom with how things, things I've learned and that sort of stuff as well. But yeah, as I say, any comments, feedback, if there's another AI that you like to use better, or there's commands that you feel work better, anything like that, comment below, whether you're in the post or in YouTube, comment below. If you're in YouTube, please subscribe to my channel as well. Okay, guys, thanks for that. Hope that was helpful. Speak to you later. Bye.